What is up, crypto community? This is Tyson from MeshNet Capital, and I am trying out something new today. I'm doing a live stream to YouTube and to Twitter. And today I wanted to create this live stream to first test it out for things to come, and second to go over DAOs, right? DAOs are something that we're super interested here at MeshNet, something that I've personally been reading and studying a lot about. Um, and so we're going to go ahead and jump in and start talking about DAOs. And I'm going to open up the chat. So I'm going to put the chat overlay. I'll start the chat overlay if I start to see some some questions come in. So let's go ahead and share my screen. Okay. I saw this article the other day on Business Insider, and I was reading it and thinking about, is this really true? Is it true that DAOs will have a $1 trillion in total accounts or assets under management within the next 10 years? So something around 2032, we might have $1 trillion in assets under management. And I started to ask myself, is that true? Is this truly the next business model? We all know about the infamous the DAO, the big DAO hack on Ethereum back in I think 2017 or 2018. And I started to do some more research, and I've talked about this in a previous video. But over here on DeepDAO, we can see that there's about 5,000 organizations being tracked on this platform. And it's all obviously missing a lot of treasuries, like Cardano is not listed here. And we all know that Cardano has just under $1 billion in Cardano assets under management in Catalyst. And we can go ahead and look at this list and see some of these top DAOs, right? We can see BitDAO that just jumped to number one this past week. It has $2.2 billion in assets under management already. Now, this is really similar to what the DAO was on Ethereum. BitDAO is trying to basically replicate that and act as an investment vehicle, but specifically for Web3. Uniswap is the largest decentralized exchange. It has over $2 billion in assets under management. And you'll notice something interesting too, that these DAOs are increasingly diversifying their assets, right? Uniswap doesn't just hold Uniswap, it actually holds Ethereum as well, right? And BitDAO owns a bunch of different things. It owns its governance token. It owns Ethereum, USDT, USDC. And this is an important aspect, I think, for DAO treasury diversity, swapping tokens for other tokens to hedge against market volatility. So you can dive in and see kind of what assets they have. And this particular example here has 157 million USDT, almost 200 million Ethereum, another 157 million USDC. So we're already seeing in the early stages of this march towards $1 trillion, we're already seeing almost $11 billion, even though in the past week it's decreased by 61 million because we're having a correction, as we all know. But this is already off to the races, if you ask me. And how is this happening? Well, we've already seen a big move to the DAOification on Ethereum, and tools like Aragon are making it possible, right? Aragon is now creating software solutions specifically for Ethereum to out of the box create a DAO. Anyone can create a DAO in a similar way that you would create an LLC. But instead of just setting up some paperwork, you actually have a treasury that can be managed. You can create voting. You even have courts. So if there's a dispute on something, they have a court system in a similar way that we have court systems today. But now you have money on the line, and a third party of delegates can dispute various things. So I highly recommend giving Aragon a look. There's other things that I've found, like Boardroom. This is a really cool concept because in the future, it's very likely that we're all going to own a piece of many different companies, similar to the way that we own stock, but we'll actually have live voting rights, and our tokens can act as governance tokens, utility. We're seeing increasing utility, and we can move them about as we please. Much different than a stock is today, of course. But now you're starting to see dashboards created to manage all of your various DAO involvement, right? This is tracking 12.6 billion. It's tracked 6.2 thousand proposals, 94,000 votes, and 659 are voters, and 659,000 total votes. So this is still very, very small. Only 94,000 people has it tracked. And if we want to see some of the projects, we'll dive in. But I love the boardroom's kind of headline, right? The front page of the ownership economy, right? Here's all the companies that I own pieces in and that I'm involved in. And it's likely that we will also work for a number of DAOs. We might do a couple hours one week on Uniswap, or we might be involved in a art DAO, right, where we're owning collective ownership. So let's go ahead and explore some of these DAOs here and see how this works. So you can see all the different DAOs that they're tracking, and we can jump into one. Let's jump in here to or ApeCoin, actually, and we can actually see what it's all about. We can see what has been voted on. Forget where that's at. Total votes. Yeah, proposals right here. So it's actually tracking what things have been even voted on, right? And how they performed. And this brings me to the next thing. We've started to see really good user experiences for voting. So probably the best example is Uniswap. Uniswap has, and again, they are now the second largest DAO, but it's built right in here to vote, right? And I'm connected to my account here. If I had Uni tokens and I had enough of the tokens, I could go in here and participate on this currently active proposal, and I could read all about it, and then I could cast my vote. So this is a really easy user interface, and these interfaces are going to get better and easier, right? And to some degree, we're probably going to have delegated representatives as well. Something that Cardano is currently working on, having delegates, not delegates only, but if you choose, having the option to delegate your vote. Not too different than a representative democracy. Okay. So what else do we have? I was also giving this product a look called Snapshot. It's another very similar application. Um, this one is also on MetaMask, so or on Ethereum. Okay, and I could go ahead and join DAOs if I wanted to, right? Join these communities, and this is all about forming a community. I don't know if I can actually join if I don't have the tokens, so we'll see what happens here. So now I've joined. So now I can actually see which ones I'm tracking and track all the proposals that are happening as well. And it appears that there is some sense of delegation already possible over here on some of these Ethereum projects, like the ENS, right? And this is just really, really cool because this type of power was previously only available to, um, people in boardrooms of companies and executives or really big institutions like hedge funds that have a big ownership stake, or like Elon Musk, after he bought a 9% share in Twitter before choosing to buy the whole thing, he was going to get a seat on the board to vote, right? But now anyone can partake in this. You might own tokens and voting rights for your corner coffee shop, right? And you might get loyalty points or loyalty tokens for going there often, and it gives you more voting rights in that coffee shop. This really is about rewiring and democratizing and empowering people all across the planet. Now, imagine for a second that you own a piece of Facebook, right? Facebook was a decentralized application, and you get rewarded for the content you create, and you earn tokens based on the views you get, and then you get a vote on changes to Facebook, right? Facebook makes over $100 billion a year. Imagine if that $100 billion was actually being distributed to the people, not a singular corporation, right? And imagine owning a little bit of piece of that company, a piece of world mobile token for infrastructure, or part of a DEX, or fractionalized ownership in art. And think about how this is going to liberate and free the world. And we're already starting to see it, and bring economic equality, or better economic distribution across the planet, right? We're already seeing people in the Philippines play Axie Affinity. And imagine if Axie gets a DAO, which they may, I'm not quite sure, and lifting people out of poverty, right? Because it's distributing that wealth and that power amongst everyone. So let's look at a few other things. I want to talk about, because I'm really focused on Cardano, I want to talk about what Cardano is doing right now, for enabling and empowering DAOs. And at the end, I'm going to show you how to create actually a multi-sig wallet for treasury management today, on a smaller scale. And then we'll talk about, before that, how to, or what's coming with DAOs. So first of all, there are people doing forms of DAO governance today. If you remember with the Sunday swap, a proposal for which pools should get the ability to be scoopers. They had kind of a on-chain voting by sending a transaction. We're seeing Vi Finance, who's an early mover on this. They've already created a user experience not too different than Uniswap. And I can come in here and I can see what proposals are happening. If I had more Wi-Fi and I made the snapshot, I could actually vote on it, right? Um, I could cast my vote here, but I don't have enough voting power, right? It's telling me I don't have enough voting power because I missed the snapshot, because I actually had my Wi-Fi in a smart contract on MinSwap. So they're really early movers on this, and it's really cool to see that people are custom building this even without the tools out of the box. They're custom building it. But now we're starting to see proposals like we've seen over here from Liquid Finance or Liquid Labs, on the Agora, for Agora, which is a Plutus governance module, to really make building this for all DApp developers on Cardano much easier, right? And I do believe this is going to get funded. It had a lot of engagement in here, and even without the funding, which I really believe that it will, they already have some open source code for that you can find over here. And they really just want to make it more robust. They want to make it so you could build a user experience on top of it, and you could plug it into your own decentralized application. Okay, so that's really cool. We're seeing that happen. And we're also seeing some things happen like Rats DAO. Rats DAO, I believe, is the first functional DAO on Cardano. And this is all about buying fractional ownership in a lot of blue chip Cardano NFTs, right? And you can join this, and they're working with a DAO, who's like a leader in the Cardano space, that's bringing education and information. They're also, I think, involved in the Agora proposal. But ADAO also has been releasing their own code, like Roundtable. They released this video the other day on how to use the first multi-signature treasury on Cardano. Let me turn the slide on really quick. Hey, Google, turn the office light on. Technology, right? And I guess the light's not going to turn on. So I want to actually go through and show you this really quick of how we're going to create our own multi-signature treasury. And let me turn this light on. Okay, there we go. First time doing a live stream, so guess I have to be better prepared next time. All right, so right now I've already created this test one I did in the past, but I want to actually create one live and show you how easy it is. So let's say that you and a group of people want to start governing some token that you're creating, or creating some type of ownership over a project. So I'm going to create this, and I'm going to call this live stream DAO. Okay. And okay. And then right here, this is going to be a signer. So this is all about adding different wallets. So I'm going to go over here to my Eternal account, and I'm going to use a few of these. So let's activate this particular wallet here. And I'm going to go to receive and I'm going to let's actually grab a previously used address. Okay. And I'm going to add that right here. Okay. So I'm going to add that. Now I'm going to add another one. Now, ideally, this is not going to be just a bunch of accounts that you own. This is obviously just for the presentation, but these are accounts, wallet addresses that people that you're building this project with own. Okay. And I'm going to receive this. This is a different account too. So we're going to grab this. I'm going to add that here. Let's go ahead and add one more. And then I'll show you how that works here in a second. So let's go ahead and grab this one and come here. And this is pretty exciting stuff. So I'm going to add that. And now I have three different addresses. Okay. Now I'm going to say that at least two of the three or all three have to agree to move funds somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to save that treasury. And then we're going to need to fund that treasury with some tokens or with Cardano, Cardano's native cryptocurrency. So let's grab this here. And I'm going to now send some funds. We're going to send, see which one has the most ADA in it. Let's activate this one. Okay. And I'm going to send to this treasury address, this multi-sig wallet, right? I'm going to send 5 ADA to it. Saying I don't have enough. Oh, there's ADA locked. So actually, let me go to my larger account here, and we'll send some ADA from here. So let's send 10 ADA over here. And this will show us how fast Cardano is running today. So we're going to send that. And let's see where we're at here. And while this is loading, while this is receiving funds, I'm going to go over to the live stream, see if we have any questions. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And we don't have, I'm not seeing any questions come in yet, probably because I don't have a big YouTube following. So while that's loading, I'm going to talk a little bit more about where I think this is all going. So I think that very soon we're going to see high quality, out of the box user experiences for DAO voting, not too different than what we're seeing over on Ethereum. And this is going to bring a whole new category to Cardano that we haven't seen a lot of yet. I've noticed that there's not even a DAO category over here listed on Cardano Cube, right? There's nothing about DAOs. There is community, but I do think that we're going to need to create a category for DAOs, and DAOs likely will become larger than NFTs, right? So if we see the NFT category, which I think might be what's over here in community, I'm not quite sure. But oh, here we go. It's not even over here. This is utility. So NFT has its own category, and we have marketplaces, games, etc. I think DAOs are going to bring another 500 to 1,000 projects to Cardano, because you don't necessarily need to create some sophisticated DEX or some protocol. You can actually do things that have offline events in a similar thing that we saw with the Constitution DAO, right? So if you haven't seen the Constitution DAO, this was well, let's actually go back here. This was a meme that raised $47 million to buy the physical Constitution. And what they did is they voted for a representative to form an LLC, buy the physical Constitution. They ended up losing the vote. But the point is that you don't have to have some sophisticated voting that does something on chain, like upgrade the algorithm. Rather, it can act much more like Catalyst acts today, where you're just releasing funds, and you can release it on an ongoing basis. And if whoever you're releasing the funds to stops doing the work, then you can stop releasing funds to them, right? So anyone really, like I said, can start to build DAOs once we see more utility or more usability come. Let's see if I receive um, my tokens here. It's still kind of loading. I don't know what's happening here. Let's check on this if we're still pending over here. And if so, we'll just wait a little bit longer. It does look like there is no pending transaction, so we should have them live here. There we go. So I do have a balance of 10 ADA now. If I want to release this ADA, let's say that someone suggested building or adding a new NFT to our DAO here, and we want to buy that. We want to move that to JPEG Store, right? Or to Jam on Bread. I'm really liking that one recently. And we want to send them, 5 ADA, right? So I'm going to create this transaction, and we're going to pick an address to send this to. So let's come back here, and I'm going to send it back to my account here. So let's receive this, and I'm going to show used ones. So I'm going to release them here, and I'm going to send five. Uh, send five. I don't know what's happening with that. Let's see here, data technology. So some reason I'm gonna refresh it again. um, we're gonna put that address in again here, and there we go. We'll actually just do five. Um, and if I had assets like an NFT or I had tokens, then I could do that as well, and I could say sending funds for the NFT. Okay. So I'm going to review that transaction, and I'm going to auto sync signatures with other signers, and I'm going to submit it. Okay. Oh, I got to sign first, right? I can't submit because I haven't signed. So I'm going to sign, and I actually need to go back here, and I need to make these three the DApp account. Okay. So let's make that the DApp. And now I'm going to sign with Eternal. Okay. It's going to ask me. Okay, I'm not going to have to pay any funds for this. I'm just acting as a signer. Okay, so there's one signature right here, and the next one. So let's imagine this was someone else. So enable that. Then I'm going to sign, and I do believe I only made it, so it only had to be 2 out of 3. So it's actually I did make it, so it had to be all of them. So let's go ahead and enable this DApp account and sign the last one. Okay. So, like I said, you could already today start using this functionality and getting your DAO going. You can make a token, you could move your tokens in here, and you could lock them up. Now I'm going to submit. I don't know what this does, but let's copy that. Submit transaction. So the transaction is submitted. So just like that, these funds are going to be moved out of here in a second, and we're going to see that happen. I'm not going to stick around for that to finish. Um, I just wanted to show this off today and talk about DAOs and their potential and how to get started and where DAOs are at on Cardano today. It's a super exciting time. I highly recommend you getting involved and going and voting on Agora in the recent Catalyst um, proposal. And lastly, I hope you liked my first live stream. And we did announce on Twitter yesterday that we created Trustless, which is uh, a new newsletter, right? That we're creating where a lot more of this type of content is going to exist, as well as recaps on Cardano, as well as expanding broadly to the Web3 ecosystem in general, really focusing on protocols that really put decentralization first and foremost, as opposed to some, and really kind of compete with Bankless, who we believe is incredibly biased to Ethereum, while acting like they're good stewards of the entire ecosystem. So we want to create this, build an audience, and then ourselves expose people to the truth of Cardano and where it's at and what its potential is and what makes it unique. So thanks for showing up to my live stream. I hope you liked it, and take care. And I just noticed that you were not able to see my screen for the past couple of minutes. So I'm actually going to share it really quick before I close this out. and show you what I was working on. Apologies for that. So I went and created this transaction here by signing the transaction that I was doing to send 5 ADA over to this other wallet, and I signed it one by one using the Eternal wallet, and then released the funds over to the new account. So that should be happening at any point now. And then I have this ability. Well, that doesn't work. All right, so that's it. Until next time, see you later.